and I was just like, this is so goofy, man. If people hate PGA Tour commentating, I don't think they're listening to Live with the sound on.
So dumb.
All right, y'all. Bearded Bros Golf Show. I'm Rod.
And I'm Marcus. I'm actually, having to find live on YouTube. That was pretty, it was exciting, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, it was funny though, because
Exciting.
today, yeah, I'm lying. But today, one of our members came in and was like, what y'all got on the tube? And we were watching like a replay of the third round. And he's like, there's live golf on. We can watch live right now. And he was like, and we're like, oh, yeah, on YouTube TV. And he was like, no, it's on CW. And I was like, you know what channel that is? Because I don't. He was like, you know what? Let me think about that. Because I mean, who really knows what channel CW is?
Well,
But
yeah, I think
you
I know.
know,
I think I know from my local area just because I watched so much of it today and, their
mm,
logo is prominent. But I agree. Like, so, and that's the crazy thing. So I was coming back from the round that I played today and was trying to find, the game to just have in the background on my way back home. And I went to YouTube again, just not being fully in tune with their whole programming deal is that they don't play the live rounds on YouTube on Sunday, maybe, or even the full weekend, if I'm not mistaken. I have to test it out
mhm.
again next week, but I think it's only Friday in certain regions that you can catch YouTube. So I think in the U they want you to go to your local CW channel over the weekend rounds, and
Probably.
then in countries that don't have, of course, the CW affiliate, you have to go. You can go through YouTube, but it did give me a warning. It said the user has not authorized your country for playback. It was an interesting pop up, and I
Oh,
was like, oh,
really?
that's right. It was, yeah. It's like they're driving you over to
Wow.
CW. So but you would have to know that too. I can imagine if you weren't as plugged in as we were and kind of aware of where the TV channel was playing, that you just may miss out and just skip it altogether if you were just a casual viewer and trying to catch their stuff. So it's just it's an adventure. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
a
definitely.
scavenger hunt. It's a scavenger hunt trying to find their programming. Um, we mentioned also their results. It was we'll walk through it since Liv was really the only golf
Yeah,
worth
we'll talk about it.
discussing at this point. So we went into the week with, again, we mentioned it earlier, the John Rahm team finally coming together at the last minute with Terrell Hatton, Kieran Vincent, which I think his brother is on the Live Golf League, Scott Vincent, since inception, and then I'm gonna forget. I don't know this kid's name, but he's a college sophomore that was playing for Tennessee. Seems to have legit game. They picked him up at the last minute. Had to move out of his dorm to play for John Rahm's team, Legion 13, which he went into an explanation of his team name, and I'm like, dude, it's just way too deep. You're way too serious for Live. This is not that type of outfit where it takes thought
Right.
and execution on an idea. But it was just
Yeah.
interesting. So, another addition that they have this year is two wild cards every week, and I don't know how this is going to play out or how I haven't gone to the leaderboard to see how those wild cards or how they're even in the mix, but um, that's going to be in place all year, which I'm going to circle back to the wild card deal. So 13 teams times four players is 52. And then they have a total of 54 players in each tournament. So,
Yeah.
did you catch anything outside of Friday, or was that your kind of shot at get your them giving a shot this weekend?
That yeah, that was kind of all I really made time for with it. But I guess with the Vegas event coming up next week, I'll give it a try again. You know, I feel like, let me say this. I'm very, you know, I'm open-minded about it this season. It's not that bad of a product as I thought it was originally. They're making improvements. The graphics are busy. very busy. Um, feel like as soon as they highlight the next player, then it shrinks down to the team, then expands again for the players, and then the player is in yellow and everybody else is in black. But then it shows you a score, and I can't tell if it's the whole score or that day's score. Just things like that. It just,
The
they
graphics
never
are
really
weird.
tell you, right? It's like, it would make a lot more sense if you just had like final round. But like, when it's the third day, it's just kind of like it's the third day. And that's not really the whole event.
Right. We're used to thinking about it in different terms. I know, it's so crazy. And even when we've seen comments on the channel saying that, oh, the PGA Tour has a lot of 54 hole events. I'm sorry, sir or ma'am. That is not correct. You can count
That is the
on
PGA
single
Tour champions, buddy.
that, yeah. You do not see 3 round events on the PGA Tour. Even Tiger's 20-man event has 4 rounds. So
Right.
that one's always an interesting argument when you hear it. One thing that also, I'm going to present my screen here that I found interesting. So it kind of goes along with what you were saying with the scoreboard. At one point, literally this afternoon, they brought up Phil Mickelson, and they're like, "Oh, for the first time this year, we have captain of the High Flyers, Phil Mickelson, and God, what's his name? Used to be on Golf Channel from Scotland or Ireland. I'm forgetting his name.
David Faraday.
Yeah, David Faraday called him Filbert. And I was just like, this is so goofy, man. If people hate PGA Tour commentating, I don't think they're listening to Live with the sound on because it's so bad.
Right.
And it's so bad. And the Arlo White guy with his weird pronunciations, and it's just an interesting broadcast. The on course lady Sue sounds like she's out of breath every time she speaks a sentence.
Shots. He seems pretty relaxed. He was having a great conversation between Taylor and Cam. But it's like right when he gets to his ball, it just switches on, tunes everything out. 9-iron now for John. Back right hole location.
So first day, Friday, when you texted me, I started watching it in the car with no sound.
Yeah.
I could deal with it. I could deal with it. Today, I listened with the sound, and I did not like it at all. It really took down my
Yeah.
opinion. So anyway, back to the scoreboard thing. They brought up Phil. First time showing him. I'm going to present this part, and I was surprised at how bad Phil is playing, especially a week after
Hella
saying
over
that
par.
he felt like he was in a good spot. So at the bottom of their listing, Harold Varner at plus 14. Phil, there were quite a few players at plus 11. Phil Mickelson, Pat Perez, Peter Uline. Let's go to all the over par guys. Andy Ogletree, Brendan Grace, which is disappointing because I always loved Brendan Grace's game. Denny Lee, Adrian Maronk, man, plus 5, bro. Get your money though. Thomas Peters, and this one also, I don't know how much of a fan you were of Thomas Peters, but back in our
Big fan.
DP World Tour days, I loved his passion.
Big
Very much
fan.
a perfectionist about his game. Really talented dude. To see him shooting numbers like plus 4, man, super disappointing. Did not have a round under par all week. Graham McDowell plus 4 as well. Mito Pereira plus 4. Um, and Carlos Ortiz plus 4. Again, Scott Vincent, we mentioned him earlier. Puig, Kazuma, don't know who the heck that is. Charles Schwartzel, the other Vincent brother, man, plus numbers all over the place. Henrik
Wow. Blast from
Stenson,
the past. Hudson Swafford.
yeah, man.
Jason
I remember,
Kokrak. Wow. Names I haven't seen in years for 300. God bless.
and then Lee Westwood. Okay, so this is also an interesting aspect. Again, just getting into their details. So the Majestics with that has Lee Westwood, Henrik Stenson, Ian Poulter, and I forget who their fourth player is, but they have three co-captains on the Majestics, which include again Poulter, Westwood, and Henrik Stenson. Let's find another blue dot. I think it's Sam Horsfield, who is actually a super talented player in his own right, but he is captained by three other people. So it was just an
Yeah.
interesting leaderboard, and kind of just back to the top here. In the four-hole playoff, we saw Joaquin Neiman take out Sergio Garcia in a four-hole playoff in the dark. It was not. I'm not kidding. Like they kept really emphasizing, "Hey, we're opening up the lenses fully, but it's dark out here." And I don't even know how they saw their drives, but even going into the green, the scoreboard was the only thing lighting the green up. And it was honestly pretty energyless around the grandstands there. But what do you think, man? Joaquin Neiman, I do have a comment to make after you kind of talk about your experience with Liv.
It's just crazy because I feel like you would have like a really big turnout with two Spanish guys, prime in their prime, number one golfer, Masters winner, former Masters winner, and then Joaquin Neiman, a young up and coming Chilean who just won in Australia. And there's still hardly any crowd out there at Mayakoba, which is a resort course, which should be able to field plenty of people, as we have seen before in the PGA Tour events. So, yeah, I just don't know what they're gonna do to get crowds to come out and support. Um,
Yeah, it was
I
an
think
it
it
was
was
an
funny
interesting
though.
finish. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Of course, being a native Mexican, they had Abraham Answer being interviewed on Friday when I saw in the coverage.
Hmm.
He's talking it up. I've never seen this many kids out here before. It's just a different energy. I mean, I don't know. I think the energy is different because it's empty out there. That could just be me, but you know, it was
Where let's
crazy
see.
because like you
Let's see where he finished. Go ahead.
right. And then another thing, you see the chat and they had a few viewers, but really it was kind of like worse than what we would do. We're just gonna talk bad about it and not even post it. But like they were on the chat spamming hate, just hate watching it, right? It was
Oh,
crazy.
really?
Like,
Oh, and on YouTube.
yes, yes, on YouTube. Live is a joke. LOLOL. Who's watching this 54 event? LOLOL. Like stuff like that. I'm not even being funny. Like that was like every other comment. And there was a few
Wow.
people that they would mix in that was like trying to make it positive and again, trying to give it a chance and stuff like that. And it's gonna be tough. I will say though, going into the summer, as things slow down in other sports and you get a chance to highlight golf again, they have that deal with Google. It's a really cool deal. You just highlight the one player and you'll be able to watch them live wherever you may go or however you may, choose to do so. So if you individually love a golfer still, like if I were still in my Charles Schwartzel era, I could just type in his name on Google and he'd pop up and I'd be able to watch him in the events that they have. But
Yeah.
when we get to the end of the program, I got some things to say as far as, the merger goes and the qualifications because I've been thinking about it. And this is really just another easy way to simplify things and it's kind of almost like dang, is it really that simple? And it almost is. But let's
Okay.
go on to our next point, right?
Well, well, you mentioned Abraham Answer, so he finished even for the week, tied for 28th. So didn't really, bring it home. But you got your
Hey,
money though, bro.
host
So
country, yeah, host country, you made it at least even par. You were not last. You did something, Mr. Answer. You did
yeah.
something.
Um, and the interesting part was that it was a missed opportunity because John Rahm was actually tied at 11 under, or excuse me, 12 under going
12,
into
yeah.
his 17th hole. That's also something that I just do not. I get it. You get everybody gets to finish at the same time, and that's cool, or around the same time. But to me, I also like the format. I love the format. I'm not even going to say I like it. I love the format of, let's say I get out early on the course and I'm able to set a number and go into the clubhouse with the lead, or set whatever the baseline
Yeah,
number is
put pressure on
everybody
the
else is
guys.
chasing. Exactly. Versus on the course at the same time. So John Rahm again had a chance to either win it outright or go into the playoff as well. Ends up pulling his drive, going into the hazard area and having to take a drop, ends up finishing with the bogey. Just, again, missed opportunity for them to capitalize off their newest star and newest team member. He did an interview after the round as well. And again, just the propaganda. John Rahm is not the most pleasant when he doesn't win. Um, in an interview setting, and he was is you could just tell that his answers, he's been sticking to the script. You know what he's going to pretty much say. He did. They asked him about the team concept, and he's like, "It's interesting. It's going to take me some time to get used to. It does make me think a little bit different when I'm out there having to kind of rally for the team versus just myself." But he
Right.
doesn't really give full kudos to the concept. He just says it's interesting and he's getting used to it. So I just found those,
Yeah.
kind of just making some notes about some of the things that they were talking about. And again, as darkness fell upon this playoff, you could tell that there was a little bit of stress behind finishing up on a Monday. I almost wanted to see how that would turn out if they would actually return, because again, the commentator Arlo White came back and said, "Hey, we need to head to Vegas. We're doing a Thursday start next week, and we'll have the Live Golf team." It did not sound like they were going to commentate for it, but David Fairley said,
Yeah.
"Well, I'll be here." And it got really awkward in the booth. It's just so I wanted so badly to see them just say we're gonna have a tie, or say something in this crazily. Another nuance that they were talking about, again, as darkness fell upon them, to take carts to the balls after hitting them off the tee box. And at
Oh
first Sergio
Lord.
Garcia was opposed to it, and you could tell Joaquin Neiman was irritated by it. The cameras were in everybody's faces, and the rules official was saying it's just an option, and then Joaquin Neiman's like, "I'm taking the cart, man." Again, this is on the third playoff hole, and then
Right.
Sergio and his caddy hopped in the cart. But it was very interesting drama coming down the end. So I think for at least for the nuance of it, and just kind of seeing how they're building this plane as they fly it, I found that part entertaining, at least, because it's like they're
Yeah.
just figuring this shit out as they go.
I mean, for real. I mean, like, so again, Friday when I watched again, it's like what you said with the shotgun start. Cool, everybody finishing at about the same time. Everybody's pretty much in the same amount of coverage for 30, maybe 5 hours, la da 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 da. But like the commentators, you're going into your third season now, and you're still fumbling through your sheets of where people started, and then you have to do mental math to count and see how many holes they played. This is on Friday. They're like, yeah, we're watching Sergio right now. He's on his yeah, this will be his 14th hole. Bro, if he was starting from one, we'd easily be able to tell this. But again,
Right.
kudos to them.
E-
And then one
Even the
last thing,
tracker, even the
even the
tracker, while
tracker.
you're on, yeah, well, it says like today they were kept showing 2, 3 holes left, but there were people finishing up two hole with other people with 2 holes left, because of course there's only 13 teams, 18 holes, that there's going to be open holes in front of somebody. And so even
Right.
that part was a bit hard to track. um and yeah, go ahead. What was the next thing? Because I have something to say about the TV coverage as well.
Oh, yeah, John Rahm. No, he's not buying into the team concept because you know why? On the first day, he was crazy hot, started out and was like at one point had got to 7 and was on his way to shooting 64 because they're par 71 out there for the LIV event. But his team overall was 4 under. No way you could be happy about that. Your team, and again, you're taking the 3 best scores and y'all are still over par on the other 2 golf balls. No way he'd want to buy into that. What?
Well, they ended up winning it. Let's see here. I'm gonna find
Because
it here real quick.
the Senate guy
Yeah,
came back. That's the Tennessee Vol guy. He came back and shot under par round over the
so,
3 days.
Caleb Surratt. So let me pull it up here.
And then
So they
Terrell
ended
Hatton was
up,
over par. They didn't even count his scores.
yep, top three. So they ended up 24 under. 20 under was the next highest team, and then 17. So with those gaps between people, is the team thing even really that competitive? Like I know there's a
No.
little bit extra kicker and extra money coming to them for that, but again, these are
Yeah.
these are significant gaps between first to third. And yeah, it tightens up a little bit down below here, but overall, I don't. Yeah, there's not much to the team concept
Go
at all.
go back to Sergio Garcia in a
Hold
playoff
on.
for the win. In a playoff for the win, your team finished 6th. You're not mad? You're not mad at all?
Right,
Like,
right.
you gotta be shitting me, bro. Like, there's no way I'd be sitting here excited about team golf. Like, this has been a 4-century individual event. But now all of a sudden, we getting back into team golf, bro. This is college golf. And it pretty much is. They got shorts. Some of them got the shirt tucked in. Some of them don't. Like,
So is it?
this is
It
a
was interesting because the rookie Caleb Surratt, he was out there in his pants, full
Cam
on,
Smith
looked
wears
like a
pants.
pro.
I mean, some of them
I
still
know,
wear pants.
I know, because it looks,
Hey, John
I
Rahm
don't know,
should wear pants, by
becoming.
the way. His legs are not, he needs to wear.
He's not
Some
ready
of
for
the
the
golfers,
shorts.
no, some of these golfers need to wear pants. Like, your legs not that built. Like, your shorts not that form fitting. Like, they at that awkward length. Like, are they trying to be above the knee? Or is this just
It
like
it
the longest inseam they have? Let me know.
it it looks like a dude named John that's stopping off at the turn, flirting with the chick at the bar while he's getting his fireball shot in his turn dog. I'm just saying it looks so sloppy to me, man. Like I get it, y'all are
Thomas
there to
Piers
have
looks like he could be in our 4 ball, like right now. He
like
literally looked like
high
y'all are like
socks.
he teed off at 7:30 with us. He just trying to get it in before he got to work his half day at the office and shit like that. He told the boss he'll be there for he'll be there for the meeting at 11 and stuff like that. So, just things like that is just crazy to me, bro. It's so
It is.
insane, man. Like,
On the coverage, like a lot of complaining early on was about again PGA Tour coverage over focusing on the leaders. But guess what? Today, in the whole 3 hours that I watched this afternoon, they only focused on a handful of golfers. So at the end of the day, people want to see the people that are closest to the top of the leaderboard, not the field just
yeah,
hitting
they
random
still want to see
shots.
the best golf.
So again, I'm very um sensitive, or I don't know the word I would use here, but very attentive to what you say because like when you commit yourself to and have all this conviction around certain statements and they're not really based in fact or truth, that stuff ends up coming to bite you back. All these arguments that
Yeah,
were being made to kind of knock down the PGA Tour instead of just being honest about what this situation is, it just looks at the end of the day really bad on you when you come back and you're pretty much doing the same exact thing that your
right.
competitor was doing, and you put yourself out there as someone that was the anti PGA. So I don't know, man. That part just really stuck out to me as well. I'm like, okay, I'm watching the same 5 golfers finish this up as if I was watching any other tournament golf across the planet, because that's what happens.
You get a lot of stuff out of this channel, y'all. A little business knowledge, a little technical golf knowledge, a little BS in here and there. You're in a well-rounded environment. So hit that subscribe button, hit that membership button. We got you covered on all things golf.